Caesar, Festus, grab your mama's bags.
Yes, sir.
It's time.
But you said...
Forget what I said. Time ain't making our trail any shorter, or Mrs. Wells any fonder of losing me.
We'll be together, young lady. Finally.
And in the same house, for once. Where's Drusilla? Boys, go fetch your sister.
Yes, Mama.
Go on. Go on.
Stop!
We warned
Stop!
you.
What's this?
Man short on his rent. He refuses to pay his taxes. He needs to go.
You can't do this, Noise. The town has provisions to help people in need. Just leave him alone. I'll take this up with town officials.
I am a town official. He goes where I tell him to go.
Elias will be in my custody. He is not your burden. You can come to court to explain.
You will get your money, sir.
I will.
Come join us for supper. With the whole family. We insist.
I have here a proclamation from New York Governor Clinton to convert illegal New Hampshire land titles to lawful New York titles.
What will it cost us to hold your fancy titles, Noise? Pretty penny for the New York coffers, I'd bet. Tell us, tax collector Noise. What does Clinton give us for our money? Not security for the bloody Brits, the Mohawk, the Bennington mob. If Clinton had any bollocks, he'd drive the Yankees the hell out of here and let us sort out the rest. I'd gladly pay for that. Here. How is politician John Noyes better than Ira Allen in Chittenden?
So now they are voting to draft Guilford men into the same militia they used to confiscate Yorker farms.
No.
Our farms.
No.
Our farms! No! Yankee delegate Sam Knight thinks he can force us to fight for them. Teddy!
No.
What are you going to do about that noise? Draft a letter to Clinton?
What are we gonna do? We're gonna go over there and tell them what we think straight to their faces. To the hall.
Coercion by Ethan Allen is to be expected, but the Continental Congress confers no authority for his sham Republic of Vermont.
Flash the hash trader. I answer to George Washington. I'm here to clarify for you dumb fops that you live in Vermont. You live by Vermont rule. Which one of you cowards is John Noyes? You've got a loud horn, maggot, but not much for brains. Where's Noyes?
Answer me, or we will lay this village as desolate as Sodom and Gomorrah. Answer me!
I am a citizen of Vermont, Colonel. God knows. Though in this town, the devil rolls the dice.
My God, you got that right.
Follow me close. Mr. John Noyes lives this way. If you don't go after him, I will. Man makes such commotion. If I was to pay a visit, I'd start with him.
Mac, Amos, lock him up. Rest of you, let's go for a walk. Gentlemen, I came here today with a clear understanding that Congress would act to recognize Vermont as our 14th state. But this is evidently now not the case. Why not?
Because, Mr. Allen, fresh from a British prison, thanks to the help of George Washington, you launch a brutal invasion, an attack on the good citizens of Guilford, New York.
Guilford, Vermont, sir, where you, New York's governor, stoke insurrectionist rebellion against loyal Vermont citizens who serve the patriot cause.
Yorkers attack our courts and town government, agitate in our streets, destroy property.
Governor Clinton is a patriot who fought in the French and Indian War, as many of us did, and as you claim to have done, Mr. Allen. But you showed up late, as I remember.
It's not enough that you lay siege to the entire disputed territory. But Mr. Allen's Vermont now claims towns west of Lake Champlain, east of the Connecticut River. What truly are his ambitions? Vermont is a fraudulent enterprise, seeking to expand its empire while we are locked in a life and death battle with Britain. Have you no shame, Mr. Allen?
Vermont's fight against feudal lords in New York is what this American Revolution purports to be. So that poor settlers can build homesteads, raise families. The solution is not to isolate, ignore, and oppose Vermont. It is to admit us as a state, validate our land claims, and follow our example by ending slavery, granting suffrage to non-land-owning men, and establishing free public education.
Mr. Colonel Allen, you and your brother currently lay claim, personally, to 200,000 acres of land in the disputed territory you call Vermont. Am I correct?
I have been indisposed in an enemy prison ship for the past few years, sir. And I haven't had the time to calculate all that.
Of course. It's a lot of land to survey. But it is land that stands to benefit you personally, in large measure. People in Vermont still enslave Africans, General Allen, though I'm told some, including yourself, simply call them servants.
Let me remind you, Mr. Hamilton, of my time spent in filth among vermin in witness to the patriot cause.
Mr. Allen, you've landed in that ship through an insubordinate act that jeopardized the Patriots' strategy for Canada by fooling us into thinking you were supporting us.
When British and Mohawk fighters attacked our town of Royalton, Congress stood by, did nothing. If Congress refuses to acknowledge Vermont, Mr. Hamilton, Vermont will refuse to acknowledge Congress.
So, a threat.
It is we who are threatened.
We have discussed this matter fully. In fact, too much. I move to deny Mr. Allen's request and order him forthwith to desist further assaults on patriotic New Yorkers.
Yeah.
You said I would receive a fair hearing. Please, sir, if I could just speak to General Washington.
You've had your chance. I must ask you to leave, Mr. Allen.
To suppress this offspring anarchy, I call upon George Washington to send 1,000 troops to extinguish this criminal Republic of Vermont.
Esteemed members of the Governor's Supreme Council, Mrs. Lucy Terry Prince and I have journeyed here from Guilford to beg your attention to urgent issues of injustice there that require your support.
What kind of support?
Support for life, liberty, and property, stated in our new Constitution. My family is denied these precious freedoms.
I'm the governor, Mrs. Prince. We know you've traveled a long way. Thank you for your time. Please proceed.
This story started for me when I landed in Vermont, Governor, to see for the first time the plot of land my bishop prepared with his own two hands. When I arrived with my family from Deerfield, I felt blessed. Even when a man unknown to us showed up to have a look. But that man brought his men to invade our house and search it. And let's not forget about the kidnapping of Pastor Knight. And after harassing my family and failing to pay my husband, Mr. John Noyes had the nerve to lie in court and say we was destitute. Maybe you know men like this. Maybe you can tell me and my family why Mr. John Noyes persecutes us so. Or maybe you can answer one question. Have my family and I made fool of ourselves to come to Vermont and choose a side in a battle where we stand alone? We stand with Vermont. But is Vermont a place that stands with my family? If the scripture teach me one thing, is that words have action. God made this world from his word, man in his image. So why then do men speak and commit actions that fall so far from grace, so far from our loving Father? Why do these men dishonor what we all share on this earth?
Knight, get out. No Guilford man would ever join your militia.
Are you proud of yourself, sir?
You learned nothing, Pastor. We fight for this town. I ain't always proud what we gotta do for it, but I'd do it again.
Let the women go. Get them out of here. They have nothing to do with this.
No, sir, they're staying till they hear what we gotta say.
You'll be sorry about this noise.
You represent Bennington. Get out of Guilford. We'll drive you out of here for good. All of you.
I've seen a wedding cake look more manly.
Good cheer on your freedom, Alan. A gift from the crown.
Next it will be you in irons, sir.
Hardly, sir. Victory will soon be ours. Here we are, New York City, British territory.
And who prevailed in Bennington? And mightily, or so I'm told.
Bennington, the great capital of the tiny Republic of Vermont.
Soon to be the 14th state of the Union.
The Continental Congress wants nothing to do with Vermont.
Speaking of which, I have an audience with General Washington in Valley Forge, so excuse me.
Wait! I'm here for the king.
What do you want with me?
I want you dead. Still. But it's not up to me. At least, not yet. I did hire 2 assassins who would have put an end to it all, if not for the vain folly of your bungled invasion of Montreal. It cost me £300.
My years in the putrid hell of that prison ship were a small price to pay for your failure.
I know that you've served your fair time for sins against the crown. There's a mutual friend wishes to speak with you.
I'm less than intrigued.
He holds the keys to immense power, prestige, vast tracts of land in your cherished northern tier, with a secure title to every acre.
I've heard this trilling before, while in prison. And now a swollen sparrow sings the same song. Ira and I own huge holdings, Brush.
Not protected by the British.
Go to hell. Or aren't you religious?
If you'll pardon me.
If the firewood will be delivered at 5.
I'll see to it.
My daughter. Here for a meal later in the evening.
Poor girl. Joined to a Tory scab.
And 20,000 splendid acres in the counterfeit Republic of Vermont. Find me when you return to the Green Mountains.
I'd rather find a skunk on my dinner plate.
I forgot to mention, your son is dead. Welcome home.
Green Mountain boys will never resign their necks to the halter of British imperialism. And as regards your own life, sir, be careful not to invade mine.